2-year anniversary of the Fukushima disaster in Japan, and here at the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, members of that commission are being urged by members of Congress to take a more aggressive stance about which safety actions have been put in place following that disaster in Japan. March 11, 2011 will be forever remembered in Japan as the day of the great earthquake that led to the meltdown at the Fukushima nuclear power plant, the worst nuclear accident in 25 years. 2 weeks before the 2-year anniversary, members of the Nuclear Regulatory Commission were on Capitol Hill to face questions about the orders they've issued since Fukushima. The first order requires all U.S. plants to better protect safety equipment and to make sure all reactors and spent fuels can be treated in the event that a plant loses all AC power, like what happened at Fukushima. The second order requires Mark I and Mark II reactors to improve their venting systems, and the third order requires all plants to install enhanced equipment for monitoring water levels in each plant's spent fuel pool.
These reactors have until the end of 2016, I believe, at the latest to execute these plans. Is that correct?
To execute the, I believe that's correct.
That's more than 5 years after the Fukushima accident for only 3 orders.
On the other side of the Capitol, Senator Barbara Boxer is also asking for a progress report on implementing 12 safety recommendations for nuclear plants released by a task force following the Fukushima disaster. One of the recommendations the NRC has not acted on yet involves requiring new vents to be installed with filters that will catch more radiation in case of an accident. The 4 commissioners and Chairman McFarland are expected to vote soon on the issue, so they wouldn't discuss their positions. But that didn't stop members of Congress from discussing how they felt about it.
Experts recommended that the Commission require filtered vents. Some members of this committee have raised concerns that this requirement would be too costly. Chair McFarland, my understanding is that the NRC staff did a full cost-benefit analysis examining both quantitative and qualitative factors. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And there's nothing unusual about looking at qualitative factors. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That's consistent with NRC's guidance on cost-benefit analyses?
Yes.
Okay, well, based on its analysis, NRC staff determined that requiring filtered vents would be cost-justified and would indeed increase safety. Is that correct?
That is the staff's analysis, yes.
I know you're currently voting on this issue.
We are.
And I respect that process. I believe that you need to work together to come to a conclusion on this issue. But I would encourage you to resist outside pressure to disregard the expert recommendations of your staff.
You know, more regulation's not always safer. Sometimes it's just more things that they have to do that take away from their primary safety responsibility.
We have been talking with industry on these issues. I know this is an area of concern for them, and we are concerned that we do not want to distract licensees from their main mission of ensuring safety at the facilities, of course. At the same time, I think it's our job to impose whatever requirements are needed to provide adequate protection of public health and safety.
But Congress isn't only interested in what happened in Japan. Questions also surface concerning recent problems at the San Onofre nuclear plant near San Diego. New steam generators were placed in service at that plant a few years ago.
The project cost California ratepayers $670 million, but the new equipment was supposed to last for decades. However, since January 31 of last year, both reactors have been shut down after a tube in one of the unit's steam generators started leaking radioactive steam into the atmosphere.
The operators of the San Onofre plant have since asked to put one of the generators back online, but so far the NRC has refused.
We will not let the plant operate until we are assured that it can operate 100% safely.
Nuclear energy's business model has suffered as a result of the shale gas boom in the United States. Plans to build a new reactor at the Calvert Cliffs nuclear power station in southern Maryland were stopped this week after the NRC refused to approve the license application. The Washington Post reports that a French company, Électricité de France, wanted to build the new reactor with an American partner, Constellation Energy. The two companies formed Unistar as a joint venture, but Constellation backed out. Under the Atomic Energy Act, foreign companies are not allowed to own a majority stake in the U.S. nuclear power plant. The French company asked for a waiver of that requirement from the NRC, but the NRC refused. Back on Capitol Hill, Republicans pressed NRC Chairman McFarland over whether the commission planned to prepare a report comparing itself with Japan's nuclear regulatory agency.
Are you going to conduct a full regulatory review or not?
I'm satisfied with the analysis and the progress that we're making at the agency.
So you think you've already done it, even though you've
I
not?
think we've done an adequate job, and we're.
But I don't see how you can decide what to do going forward if you really don't do a thorough review of the two regulatory systems that are currently in existence.
And it wouldn't be an NRC hearing on Capitol Hill without plenty of discussion concerning Yucca Mountain. The D.C. Court of Appeals is currently weighing whether to force the NRC to continue with the license application, despite the fact that the NRC says it doesn't have the funding. Republicans on the Energy and Commerce Committee got McFarland on record to say that she would abide by the court's ruling either way.